In today's episode, we are revealing the glitch that we see almost in every exam that we grade, or even when we talk to the Spanish learners. So, if you want to sound like a native and save your grades at the same time, stay tuned. Hola chicos, welcome to Español con Churros, the podcast that teaches you real Spanish for real life. I'm Saumya, your certified Spanish teacher and examiner. This is episode 3. And yes, we are building. Episode 1 was the classroom. Episode 2 was the cafe. And today, episode 3, we go somewhere even more personal. And today, we talk about the people who matter the most to you and to all of us. And that's La Familia. If you are new and joining us for the first time, bienvenido or bienvenida. Welcome. Each episode is a complete standalone lesson. You do not need to have listened to episode 1 and episode 2 to benefit from today. But when you finish this one, I encourage you to go back and listen to all other. They build beautifully together. And today we have with us another Spanish speaker named Lorena, a very dear friend of mine with whom I have shared lots of good memories. And she is the one who will be collaborating with us today and, of course, making you guys learn Spanish. Hola Lorena, we welcome you to today's episode.
Hola Saumya, gracias por invitarme. Well, as you rightly said, I'll be the one instead of Mateo collaborating today. So, for those who are returning from episode 2, genial, qué bien. Last episode, you guys were at the cafe ordering food. Today, we are talking about something much closer to the heart of all of our hearts, La Familia. And in Spain, this word means everything to us. Not just your parents and siblings, but it also includes your grandparents, your cousins, your neighbors, who you have known since your birth. All of them are familia in some sense. The word carries a warmth in Spanish that honestly and personally I find really hard to translate. And I'm sure Soumya would agree with me.
Beautifully said, Lorena. And that warmth is exactly what we are going to bring to today's episode. So, chicos, this is Ep.3, and here is what we will cover. So, first, a real conversation between Lorena and me about our families. Entirely in Spanish, you listen, you absorb, and you notice the words that feel familiar. Also, before the conversation, we will give you vocabulary for each and every word that we're going to use in the conversation. Second, the grammar breakdown. And today's grammar is the most important one, specifically to build the foundation. It's the verb ser, to be. That's for describing people, their personality, their profession, and their identity. This is the verb that unlocks description in Spanish. Third, possessives. Me, tú, su. That's my, your, his, or her. Small words but have enormous impact. We cover when they change and when they don't. And of course, why. Fourth, the glitch. The ser versus ESTAR mistake that appears on every conversation without exception and even in your exams. And a cultural note about your family in Spain that is genuinely beautiful. And fifth, the fluency repeat and definitely your homework. How can we miss that? So, chicos, this is episode 3 and real Spanish, not the textbook one. Specifically for the people you love, and we all do. So, ¿preparados?
as we said, here is the vocabulary you need for this episode. I will say in Spanish and Saumya will translate that to English for you guys. So let's start. La familia,
The family,
los padres,
the parents,
el padre o la madre,
father and mother,
el hermano, la hermana,
brother and sister,
los abuelos,
grandparents,
el abuelo, la abuela,
grandfather, grandmother,
mayor,
older or elder,
menor,
younger,
pequeño, pequeña,
small or young,
simpático, simpática,
friendly and nice,
trabajador, trabajadora,
hardworking,
unido, unida,
close or united,
divertido, divertida,
funny or fun,
inteligente.
intelligent. No gender change here. Moving forward, Lorena and I are gonna speak in Spanish about our families. Yes, our real families. So, as we promised, a real Spanish conversation, not the textbook one. So, listen for the vocabulary and specifically for the verb ser because it's gonna appear a lot of times. And we hope to give you clarity on how to use it and how not to commit mistakes when it comes to the verb ser and estar. So, preparados? Are you guys ready?
Buenas, ¿cómo andas, Saumya?
Hola Lorena, pues ahí voy. ¿Y tú qué tal?
Pues, estupenda. ¿Y cómo es tu familia?
Mi familia, pues de verdad es pequeña, pero muy unida. Somos 4, mis padres, mi hermano y yo.
¿Tienes hermanos mayores o menores?
Pues mi hermano es mayor que yo. Tiene 28 años y es muy trabajador.
¿Y tus padres a qué se dedican?
Mi madre es profesora, como yo, y es muy inteligente y muy paciente. Mi padre es médico. Trabaja mucho, pero siempre tiene tiempo para la familia.
¡Qué familia tan bonita! ¿Y tienes abuelos?
Sí, tengo 2 abuelos. Mi abuela es muy simpática y mi abuelo es muy divertido, de verdad. Siempre nos cuenta historias de cuando era joven y qué hizo y todo.
Me encanta. En España también tenemos una relación muy especial con los abuelos. Son el corazón de la familia.
Totalmente de acuerdo. La familia lo es todo. ¿Y cómo es tu familia?
Pues mi familia tiene 5 miembros. Yo, mis padres y tengo 2 hermanas.
Pues genial. ¿Y te gusta pasar tiempo con tus hermanas o crees que te molestan mucho?
Sí, me molestan a veces, pero me encanta pasar mi tiempo con ellas.
Did you guys understand anything? ¿Entendisteis algo? Did you catch any word that felt familiar? And that you recognized from episode 1 or 2? Well, let's break it all down now and enter expert zone. So the verb that appeared more than anything else, any other verb in that conversation is the verb ser, that is to be. And that is the most important verb at your level after the verb tener. You will use it every single day. And here is the full conjugation that you will need to describe your family. Ser is an irregular verb. Yo soy, I am. Tú eres, you are, informal, to one person. Él, ella, usted, es, he or she is, you are, formal. Nosotros somos, we are. Vosotros sois, you all are. Remember, Spain only. Ellos, ellas, son, they are.
And chicos, remember, you say it for nationality. For example, soy India or soy española. For profession, mi madre es profesora, mi padre es médico. Personality, mi hermano es trabajador, mi abuela es simpática. For permanent characteristic, la familia es pequeña, somos 4. And last, for family relationships, mi hermano es mayor que yo. Great. Hope you guys have understood that. And now let's talk about possessives. Me, tú, su, my, your, his, or her. These are small words, but they appear in almost every sentence when talking about family. The important thing to know at A1 is that they do not change for gender. Mi madre and mi padre both use mi, me. They only change for number. Singular becomes plural by adding s. Singular possessives. Me, my, tú, your, su for his, her, their, and formal your. Now plurals. Miss, my, tus, your, sus, his, her, and theirs. No gender change. Remember that. Only number. For example, mi hermano, mis hermanos. Mi abuela, mis abuelas. Also useful, nuestro, nuestra, that's our. Nuestros, nuestras, our plural. Vuestro, vuestra, your informal plural.
That's great, Lorena. Thanks for pointing that out. And now let's talk about adjective agreement. When I described my brother, I said, mi hermano es trabajador. The adjective here ended in R with just R, not A, because hermano is masculine. But for my mother, mi madre es trabajadora. We need to add the A there. She is feminine, so the adjective becomes feminine too. This is the agreement rule. The adjective matches the person who you are describing in gender or number. Masculine, singular. Trabajador, divertido, simpático, pequeño. Feminine, singular would be trabajadora, divertida, simpática, pequeña. On the other hand, masculine plural, trabajadores, divertidos, simpáticos, pequeños. Feminine plural, trabajadoras, divertidas, simpáticas, pequeñas. But remember, there is an exception to it. Adjectives ending in E do not change for gender. inteligente, interesante, impresionante, independiente. For example, mi hermano es inteligente. Mi hermana es inteligente. Exactly the same. Only add s for plural and that would become inteligentes. So, mi hermano es muy trabajador and mis hermanos son muy trabajadores. Mi hermana es muy trabajadora. Mis hermanas son trabajadoras. Make sure you make it plural, not just for the gender, but also the verb. S became son when you're talking about they are, or my sisters or my brothers are.
And now, let's talk about the glitch. Episode 3 is the common mistake. And this one appears on every single exam that we have corrected without exception. We have marked, remember, hundreds of papers and we converse every single day in Spanish with not just our students, but of course with hundreds of people around. And we see it every second. It is a confusion between ser and estar. Both mean to be, but they are not interchangeable. At A1 level, there is a rule you need to know right now for family description. Saumya, would you explain the concept for our listeners?
For sure, Lorena. Well, chicos, a simple way to remember where to use ser and estar is with these two words. For ser, remember doctor. DOCTOR, doctor. D stands for description. O stands for occupation. C stands for characteristics. T stands for time or date. O stands for origin. R stands for relationships. And for a star, use place. PLACE. P stands for positions. L stands for locations. A stands for actions. C conditions. And E emotions. Also, there is another way to remember ser and estar. Use ser for the things that are stable about a person, their job, their personality, and who they are. Estar is for the things that change, moods, location, temporary states. Like, for instance, your mother's profession does not change every day. So, ser. Your personality is who you are. So, ser. Stable equals ser. That's the shortcut.
Well, that was great. So, chicos, it's very easy. Ser for doctor, estar for place. Now, the cultural note. So, in Spain, grandparents are not peripheral, they are central. Many Spanish families gather every Sunday for La Comida del Domingo, the Sunday lunch at the grandparents' home. This is not an occasional tradition. For millions of Spanish families, it's weekly, but consistent and separate. The abuelos often live very close and sometimes in the same building, sometimes, of course, the same floor. The concept of sending grandparents to care facilities is much less common in Spain than in Northern Europe or, in fact, the US. La familia cuida de la familia. The family takes care of the family. And there is a beautiful word for the grandchildren's relationship with grandparents. They are often called los nietos, but more lovingly, tesoros. Los tesoros, the treasures. That tells you everything you need to know about the place of grandparents in Spanish family's life.
Wow, Lorena. La familia cuida de la familia. The family takes care of the family. That sentence in itself, it's bringing so much warmth and simplicity at the same time. Captures something very profound about not just Spanish values but also of my culture, the Indian culture. And when you understand the culture behind not just the language, but when you compare it with your own culture, the language itself becomes easier to speak. You are not just learning grammar, as we said, you are learning a world view and the real Spanish along with its culture. Now, the fluency repeat. Same rules as always, speak at the same time as us. This conversation is warm and personal as we stated. Let the warmth come through when you are just starting to find the words. And by episode 3, it would be easier for you just moving your mouth. So, listos? Vamos.
Buenas. ¿Cómo andas, Saumya?
Hola Lorena, pues ahí voy. ¿Y tú qué tal?
Pues estupenda. ¿Y cómo es tu familia?
Mi familia, pues de verdad es pequeña, pero muy unida. Somos 4, mis padres, mi hermano y yo.
¿Tienes hermanos mayores o menores?
Pues mi hermano es mayor que yo. Tiene 28 años y es muy trabajador.
¿Y tus padres a qué se dedican?
Mi madre es profesora, como yo, y es muy inteligente y muy paciente. Mi padre es médico. Trabaja mucho, pero siempre tiene tiempo para la familia.
¡Qué familia tan bonita! ¿Y tienes abuelos?
Sí, tengo 2 abuelos. Mi abuela es muy simpática y mi abuelo es muy divertido, de verdad. Siempre nos cuenta historias de cuando era joven y qué hizo y todo.
Me encanta. En España también tenemos una relación muy especial con los abuelos. Son el corazón de la familia.
Totalmente de acuerdo. La familia lo es todo. ¿Y cómo es tu familia?
Pues mi familia tiene 5 miembros. Yo, mis padres y tengo 2 hermanas.
Pues genial. ¿Y te gusta pasar tiempo con tus hermanas o crees que te molestan mucho?
Sí, me molestan a veces, pero me encanta pasar mi tiempo con ellas.
Wow, episode 3 is done. And what an episode! Well, you know now how to talk about the people you love in Spanish. You have the verb ser, you know possessives, you know the adjective agreement, and you also know how to use the ser and a star and never to use a star for description. That is real, functional, and the life ready for the real conversation Spanish. Be proud of that. And now Saumya will tell you what the homework is. Let's hear from her.
I completely agree, Lorena. What an episode. And yes, now, chicos, you have everything you need to know to be able to describe La Familia in Spanish. And your homework, as always, is given below in the description box. So, 2 sentences about one family member. Ser plus an adjective. And drop it in the comments, and I will respond to each and every one of them. And we look forward to meeting your families in Spanish in the comment box. Episode 4 arrives soon. And now we are making weekend plans. Ir, IR, a plus infinitive verb. Your very first step into the Spanish recent near future tense. Practical, exciting, and full of cultural surprises about how Spanish people actually plan their time. So, hasta luego, chicos. Adios.
Adios. And between now and the next episode, describe one family member in Spanish, as Saumya said. Just for yourself, me, so on, es, muy, dash, dash, dash. Fill in those blanks. Every time you do, that is Spanish becoming part of you. And remember, familia es lo todo. Hasta el próximo episodio.